Okay, hello there. I'm Dennis. Welcome to the channel, Life Home and My Linux Journeys and BSD Journeys. Uh, Today's video, we're going to go over and look at Artix Linux. It's based on Arch Linux. It is another operating system without SystemD. So, let me bring up the web page here. Should be able to see this. This is their homepage right here, artixlinux.org. The art of Linux. That's where the Artix comes from. Simple, fast SystemD. And if you're gonna run Artix, you're gonna need to know about their homepage, and this is their homepage. And right here on recent news, they're telling you that on the 16th of March, 2023, at 1600 UTC +1 from scheduled maintenance for 2 hours. So on that day, if you're running Arts or Artix, Artix Linux, and you need to do an update or something, the mirror is going to be down. The primary US mirror is going to be down. After extensive testing and debugging, our latest weekly ISOs have acquired official installation media status. Please report anything out of the ordinary to our forum announcement thread. So you get quite a bit of information on here, and here's the download link right here. If you click on that, it's going to bring you here, and it tells you quite a bit about it. It tells you the different ISOs that are available, and it's gotten a little. It looks like it's a little. I don't know if less congested is the right word. It looks like it's actually a little less congested now than it was that last time that I looked at it. But here is the system that I downloaded, or the ISO, Artix Xfce4 with the Runit system. It's a 64-bit that's 1.7 gig. So, I mean, you have your choice here. You can do the same thing right here with just the base. They offer the Dinit system, OpenRC, and the S6, which is what I just covered a little bit with Oberon Linux. It comes in the Cinnamon desktop. It has a community, community, which is Artix OpenRC, and here is the one that I downloaded right here. But they do have some more options. You got 4 different options for your init system. We'll see right here in just a second. You can actually enable the Arch Linux repositories, so that's going to open up an entire new world of packages that are available if you go that route. Here's a package list search where you can look for anything that is available in Artix. Let's just look up, let's say Boko screen. Since here, page not found. That's pretty nice. Oh, they got Boko screen. Let's see. KPAT. There we go. KPAT is available. This is their world repository. All right, so that's how you would come here and search for a package. Or you could also do it in the terminal, which is what most people would do, provided you know the name of the software that you're looking for. Here's the wiki for the main Runit system. You'll find all kind of good information in here. It tells you how to create. This is the system that requires you to create a link, a simlink for services that you want to run. And here it is right here. Gives you an example. Going to be used anymore. You can unlink it, disable it, enable it, etc. But here's the Arch wiki for the Runit system. And I found this a little more to my liking. I don't know. It just seems like it makes a little more sense than the one that we got here. They probably both got the same information, but I'm more used to the Arch wiki, so that's where I came. This link will be provided, and you can look at it. They also have a frequently asked questions about the Runit system, and you get a pretty good description here on what to do and how to do it. Again, this is going to be one of those systems that will work right out of the box. But if you want other things, you'll have to do a little research on how to get those working. This is the Artix main repositories, and it tells you on this page that you can actually add, I just said this, that you can actually add the regular Arch repositories. You can see right here it's Octothorpe there, but you can include that. And it just says really the only thing is you want to make sure that it says do not enable community alone by itself, as it contains packages dependent on others in the extra repository. It did say make sure that the Artix repository is listed as number 1. Universe, servers, good little bit of read. I was fascinated when I started reading into the Runit system a couple years ago. Artix gives you the option to run either Runit or the Dinit, OpenRC, Runit, or S6. All of them do pretty close to the same thing. We minimize this. Let's look at my menu real quick here. Got my favorite setup. We got GNOME disk. GNOME disk. This is a 44 GNOME disk 44.0 based or built against UDisk. SystemD free, but I got GNOME disk in there, and I also got GNOME system monitor. 2.5 gigs. I got a bunch of tabs open and stuff, so it's a little high right now. Let's see. Audacity Kdenlive is a flat pack. You can install flat packs on Artix Linux. We got Audacity, Krita, System Monitor, System Monitoring Center. Let's see if this one opens and works, which was not the case in Oberon. I never did figure out why it wouldn't open. I even reinstalled it. There's my CPUs, memory. It shows you your disk. In this case, I told it to show me all disk. Network, your network speed, even the sensor view works. The GPU, it probably works a little here, seems to be, but doesn't mean a lot to me. Sensor view. This is system monitoring system center. Get that right one day. Okay. Under accessories, application finder, that was a default disk, FeatherPad, PCman FM I installed. LeafPad was here. Main menu or a la carte is here. I installed it. Power ISO, I think that's I installed that through Yay. Sensor view, image writer. Under development, we got stuff here. Under education, we got stuff here. Under games, at first I wasn't able to find Alright, but I found it in the AUR, so I installed it and it works just fine. Games, see the usual. One thing I don't have here is Super Text Cart, and I've tried to build it several times, and there's some dependencies that are required by Super Text Cart, and it won't open, won't run. It won't even install, as a matter of fact. Under graphics, we got Blender, Gcolor 2, GIMP, Inkscape, Krita, Nomax, and Restretta Image Viewer. And I think that Image Viewer was the only one of the default applications here. Under Internet, we cannot get Chromium, but I got Firefox, Transmission Qt, and the web is their default browser. Under Multimedia, and I don't have to read, you can see these things. This is my typical install. These are the programs that are on every one of my computers. Most every one of my computers. OBS, Power ISO, Office. Now, I could not get LibreOffice to install in any way, shape, or form. I tried. I'm not through yet, because I will try, because I do think that that's an important piece to being able to use a desktop. Okay, under Other, I got the a la carte menu editor, ISO Image Writer, Power ISO, and SUSE Image Writer. Settings, that's typical settings under System. We got PalMac All, which I installed through Yay. ISO image writer printing can be done. Oracle VirtualBox works flawlessly. System monitor. Okay. Let me just bring up my notes here because it'll get you a better list here. Here is most of the links we just looked at, and I'll make sure those get in as titles or the show notes below. The Init system, I installed this on January the 28th, 2023. Here's a list of software that I installed, although it's probably not totally complete, but for the most part it is. You can pause the video and check that out if you'd like. Okay, through Yay, I installed Yay the Arch way. Git cloned it, made package. So Yay was available on Artix, and so I installed it. I also installed PalMac All. Now, once I did those two things, and I also installed Flatpak as well, I rebooted, and all of a sudden it was like a whole new world as far as software availability, because now I had the AUR and I had the regular Artix repositories. Between the two of them, I got everything I wanted except LibreOffice. And I'm sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's a way for me to get an Office program working on Artix to be continued. We got CMatrix, which was a Git I had that wasn't available in the repositories. No More Secrets, System Monitoring System, TTF-MS Fonts, ISO Image Writer, Balena Etcher, SL Git, that's the Steam Locomotive, I had to build it, and I'll write it, I had to build that as well. Programs that are installed by default is Xfce or INXI, and NeoFetch, HTOP, and Mugshot. You don't get that often in a Arch distribution. All right, so not available in the repos because it requires, in the repos, is Chromium, Outright, Featherpad, Brasero, and the DVD and SL. But when I installed PalMac All, I was able to get Featherpad and some other programs that wasn't available before. It was a mystery. Just like all of a sudden now I have those options. All right, so now got Outright, Featherpad, DVD. I didn't get DVD. I did get SL. See, CEVE. Nope. It uses LightDM Greeter as your login manager, and you can get the GTK Greeter settings, but you have to enable the Arch repo in order to do it. This one, I believe. Actually, I believe this is the repositories. That's probably it. As of June 2021, all Arch repositories are disabled by default. To enable them, first enable the universal repositories, install Artix Arch Linux support, and follow the on-screen instructions to activate the Arch repositories you want, most likely Extra, Community, and Multilib, which contain packages not yet in Artix repositories. Again, most important is to order the Arch repositories after the Artix Linux repository. The Artix repositories take precedence over Arch. Do not enable Community alone, as it only contains, as it contains packages dependent on others in Extra, so another repository. That is slick. I don't know how it's going to work, but eventually I'm going to do that. All right, so I got my webcams to work in all these programs: Cheese, GBC View, OBS Studio, which is running now, FFmpeg, and VocoScreen all work with the webcam. Now, when I installed VocoScreen, I brought it up, and in the settings, it said that there was a bunch of stuff not installed, and it needed a bunch of stuff. So I installed GStreamers, actually 6 different GStreamers. I failed on these, wouldn't work because that's SystemD, or actually it was libcd audio. required by GStreamer, Bad, or all these other ones, and it failed. But after I got through doing everything I knew to do as far as trying to get the streamers going, or the codecs or transcoders, I opened it back up, and I'm not going to open it up now because I'm running OBS Studio, but I did open it back up. Now all of a sudden it has VPA support. X264 is successful. It has that support. It does not have the capital H264. So anyway, that's what I had to do to get Voco Screen up and running good. It worked before, but it needed some dependencies to recognize the cameras. So what good is a screen recorder if you can't recognize your camera? All right, services. We're using the Runit service. You can find out a status of a service. Let's just see what CUP says here. I haven't enabled it, so I'm not sure. Yep, it is there and it's running. CUP's process ID is 1066. All right, so that checks the status of a service. Enable, I went over this. Actually, you can look in my last video because I gave demonstrations on creating this simlink for services and how to enable them and disable them. But the information's right here. You follow it verbatim and it works. Or better yet, you can go to the web pages that I'm going to provide for you and do your own little research and take your own notes. That felt right. Oh, change it. Check one. I close. Thank you. That didn't look right. If you wanted to stop or start a service, or you wanted to permanently get rid of it, you can unlink it. For Wi-Fi, now, if you install on a laptop, which I installed Artix Linux on this machine, only Wi-Fi. And when it brought up the desktop, I was able to click on it, click on this, and I went to wireless, and I said enable it. Once I did that, all it needed was a password, and it picked it right up. Now, I have heard other people say that they had hard times with Wi-Fi. If you find yourself in a problem or a situation where you need the Wi-Fi, try running the NM2E, Network Management Tool User Interface. I'll remember. Here it is, Network Manager Terminal Interface. And follow the directions on that, and that will connect you. It'll see your connections if they're there, and click on that, give it a password, and exit out of that, and your Wi-Fi should work. I don't know if NMTI is available after it's installed. Find out. Oh, and it may not be available now. I might be talking out my butt. I'm just saying that last time that I installed Artix and tried it on a laptop, that's what I had to do for the Wi-Fi. And that's by memory, not by this install here. Find out what services you want are running, not services running, what type of init system your operating system is using. You can run this read link space /sbins/init. In this case here, return Runit init. What we thought. Okay, swapping this. All I had to do was I went into, let's open that up. If I can copy it, cut, and I added VM swappiness. Now this folder did not exist, so I created it, and with sudo nano etsysysctl.conf, and then I added this line, VM swappiness equals 10, saved it, exited, and rebooted, and now my swappiness, I'll bring that up, you'll see where it is now. If you want to see if your hard drive is a SSD or a hard drive, spinning rotational drive, this will show you right here, command. All right, so let me bring up a terminal and get a little bigger. Start closing it. And let's run my little script here. Again, we're running the system's been running for 1 hour and 5 minutes this morning. Bad weather outside, or I would have got to it earlier. Runit system is init system is Runit init. Install date was January 28, 2023. Free memory, we're using 1.7 gigs right now. VM swappiness now is turned down to 10. The SSD is not a SSD, it's HD. Turn to 1 right there. And here's the disk that's mounted, and it's really a 325 gigs, it says on the outside. There we go. One thing also, if you want to create an alias, then it's in typical place here. So Control H to show hidden files, and bash RC, and there they are. That's typical for Artix Linux. If you'll remember in Oberon, I couldn't do that. I had to put it in another folder, which was fine. But now we're getting the Artix kernel 6.26. So let's go back to my notes, because I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. My Oberon went way a lot longer. Yes, they changed it. Here's your home page again. Download. I'll make sure these links get in the description, probably as titles and description. And you got all these different web pages to look to understand the init system for Runit or any other that Artix provides. I gotta say, I really like Artix Linux. It's the art of Linux. Everything just works smooth. I went into this thinking that I wasn't going to be able to get flat packs for one thing. I wasn't going to be able to get this, that, or the other as far as software goes. Did I open up Mac? Nope. Open it up now. So go to About here. You'll see this Mac with ALPM, AUR, Flatpak, and Snap support. So when I installed that, apparently it opened up, like I said, a whole new world of available software. You know, a lot of things won't build, like the LibreOffice. I can't get that to install, and that's not something I'll forget. I'm gonna see if I can't get that going, because, like I said, on a typical end user, an Office document creator is almost mandatory. I mean, you can get away with using something like Featherpad, but you're going to want to do more details than that. You're going to want better editor. So I think really that's going to be about to do it for this video. Let's just see what we're running now. It's 2.5 gig. Let's see what. I have to do lowcat for the color. Get color here, it's a little easier to see. This also reports 2.36 gigs. So it is using some memory right now, but like I said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs open in the Firefox browser. We got OBS running, and I've been running for over an hour now, opening and closing. All that builds up a cache, and it'll go away. This is Artix Linux. Okay, now here's the hard part. If I was going to recommend a SystemD free system, and I had to choose between Artix Linux and Oberon, it would depend on what I was searching for. If I wanted a super tied down, secure operating system that only has what I want it to have, nothing else, I would probably pick Oberon. But I would also be prepared to do the study and whatever it took to try to figure out how to get some things working that I need to work. If I was looking for a fast and easy SystemD free system, I think I would go with Artix. At least with Artix, you can have all those services running for you as it was the Calamaris installer, and that's what I'm forgetting here. Under video, Artix. I did record the install, and as you'll quickly see here, what's going on? There we go. They used the Calamaris installer right here. this is the only part that you're going to have to, unless you tell it to do automatic replace. You can see this was the hard drive was already formatted with MX Linux on it, and I had the choice of just replacing this, but I changed it so that I could reformat. And we'll see if I can get to it. Game. Okay, here is what I was looking for, the summary. You can see this is the disk now. It's going to be 512 megabyte on SDA1 for the EFI boot, and SDA2 is 8 gigs. I'm sorry, SDA2 is 100 gigs of your root drive, and then an 8 gig swap partition, and then the remainder is my home. So this was it. This is what it's going to be now. All right, and really, let's see here. If I go, my point is, I want you to see if I can find it. They're using the whisker menu. Now I'm through, and I'm going to save this recording, and that's what we're watching now. Let me get rid of that. So by default, it had the whisker menu installed versus the application menu, which you will see right here. This would be the one that would be a default Xfce start menu typically, but it came in with the whisker menu, and that's just one more positive step for me as far as I'm concerned. A step in the right direction. I'm not sure many end users prefer so much detail in installing their system. Now, I'm not saying everybody, because I know for a fact that about half of the end users that use Linux, they would like tweaking and getting stuff, exactly the way they want it. And that's fine. That's great. That's the reason why you have operating systems, so you can learn them and play with them, make them do what you want to do. So if I had to pick one, Artix Linux or Oberon, and I was going to pick one for myself, personal use, I would probably go with Artix Linux, because it just seems like everything is set up for the end user. It is the art of Linux. Whereas Oberon Linux is more set up for the guy that wants to go in there and be in control of most everything. Now, that has its place. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that here at all. I'm saying that if you want ease and a lot of stuff just ready to work for you, Artix is the way to go. If you want to be the one that tweaks everything, then Oberon would be the way to go. So you have two different choices there. If you want ease of use and quick install and just start setting up stuff and using it, Artix. If you want a more detailed installation, it takes a little longer. Mine took about 30 minutes, I believe. And you want to be in control of everything that gets installed or what everything does or what have you, then you would definitely go with Oberon. That's going to do it for this video. I'm hoping it's not as long as the last one. And in no way am I saying one system is better than the other. They both fit different niches, or as we used to say a long time ago, niche. Now it's called niche. Anyway, they each have their own niche, and they have their own positives along with some negatives. And like I said, if you just, I can't say it again, or I can say it again. If you're interested in a system that you can just install and start working tomorrow, Artix. If you want a system that you can install today and then by tomorrow be through tweaking it and getting everything you want done on it, then Oberon. There's positives and negatives to both sides of that. With Artix, you don't know what's going on in the background until you research it and find out. With Oberon, nothing runs in the background until you turn it on. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both sides. If I just had to recommend one over the other, I would recommend Artix, only because it's easier to get it installed. And most people that plays in Windows, they're not going to know a whole lot about partitioning and all that kind of stuff. They just want something they can point and click, as they say. That's going to do it for this video. I so appreciate you guys watching. And like I said again, I am not putting down one over the other. They're both extremely good operating systems. I prefer my Artix Linux with SystemD, but with Artix, that may quickly change. I mean, everything I want to work is working, and it didn't require a whole lot of extra stuff to do it. There's something to be said about that. Thanks, guys. Peace out. Bye.